Rollo Tomassi, Red Pill Godfather. Some people call him the Godfather of the Red Pill. They called Kevin Samuels the Godfather. They called, what's his name? Damn, he's old. Tom Likas, they called him the Godfather of the Red Pill as well. Too many Godfathers of the Red Pill in the last 10 years. But Rollo Tomassi was on No Jumper with Flacco, I think he was, and said a few things about certain people, and I was not expecting this one here. He actually referenced MTR, mediocre tutorials and reviews, and as far as I've paid attention to MTR's content, it's always been top-notch. I haven't watched every video that he's released, but most of the time when he's put a video out there, it's always been informative. He's given a rational, level-headed approach. He's given us his thoughts and opinions, his input based on his experiences, and he hasn't done just plain reactions and over the top, you know, oh, what the fuck, and all this sort of stuff like many other people do. Like, shit, even I've probably been responsible for that in the past, right? But MTR is his own man, and he likes to do things his own way, and he brings his own take on situations, right? Stone Mexican says he's the godfather of the, what's this? Damn, love hearts in the way of the Mex pill. Well, I'll give you that. That's all yours. So, MTR, there is on screen there. Let's see what he says regarding this whole Rollo Tomassi thing, which wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. But still, he makes a few good points, MTR.
Without further ado,
you can go look at people's thumbnails and say, is this guy an ideas guy or is this guy a reactor? Is this a guy who's just waiting for the next crisis to happen so that they can do a reaction video?
Yeah.
Or are they actually doing something? Do they have a product? Do they have an idea? Do they have a book? Do they have anything that is novel and new? 98% of the time, no, they don't, because they're waiting for people to talk shit about someone else so that they can go do a reaction video. That is Abba and Preach. That is MTR. That is anybody who's an outrage broker, right?
Yeah.
So it was just the new hotness, and I just called him out on the bullshit.
Okay, so first and foremost,
Notice what he said there as well before MTR jumps in. Rollo's coming in saying, like, if you don't offer a book, a product, a service, something, so you have to be offering something in order to be, notable? In order to actually have something worth saying, in order to have a place in the space, you have to actually offer a product. I thought people can just come here and just talk and offer advice based on life experiences and things like that. I mean, Rollo, if you just heard this on face value, you would think that he's actually saying, like, well, hey, if you really want to be a part of this space, you need to be making money off of it in some way, one way or another, which is bullshit, because not everyone is here to make money. Some people genuinely want to help others, and, you know, like the legendary Heath Ledger Joker says, you know, if you're good at something, never do it for free. But at what point does being helpful and being knowledgeable constitute you charging for a service or a product? If you can genuinely help someone's life out or help better themselves, why would you, charge money for it? I mean, sure, there are reasons why you would money-wise, but if you're genuinely in it just to help people out, I don't know why you would be, charging money. Just help the person out.
it seems as though Rollo Tomassi has bucketed me into just simply a reaction channel, into his words, an outrage broker. And let me just say, guys, first and foremost, I kind of agree and disagree with the statements right here. Let me go over which component of it that I disagree with first. I disagree with that you could just look at channels just on their thumbnails and be able to tell if it's a reaction channel versus an ideation channel, right? An idea channel. I don't think that you can necessarily do that, because although he's bucketed me into just simply a reaction channel or an outrage broker, he probably doesn't also know that I do have products such as the Modern Man's Playbook, where my goal is to teach young men how to be the
MTR, why do you have a book as well? Everyone's got a book, man. Everyone sells something. Everyone has something to sell. There's a product to be sold. There's a course to be taken. Someone's always got something, man. Damn.
man that other men respect, as well as teaching young men how to be the man that women want deep inside of them, as well as another digital product that I ideated literally out of nothing called Transcending the Red Pill, which paints to modern men today exactly how our society has become so abhorrent with,
I mean, it's a pretty good plug and product placement, I'm not going to lie.
Feminism and sexual liberation, and then details to them how to transcend past ideas of the red pill to be bigger, better, faster, stronger. These two things alone I have created, and I offer them to anyone who follows me if they want to. If he judged me just based off of the thumbnails, that would immediately prove that point incorrect. However, what I do agree with him on is this idea of outrage broker. And here's the thing, I wouldn't necessarily describe it as that if someone walks to me on the street. Like, typically when people come up to me on the street and ask me like, yo, like, what is your channel about? I say that I take viral video topics, I tell a story about them, or I just commentate over that scenario so that those that are watching can have a better understanding of the world that they live in. So as they conceptualize life for themselves and how they can be solution oriented or just be a better version of themselves, they understand how to do that. But what confuses me about that is that everybody does that, right? Yeah. I did content on Adam 22 in his situation, but you know who else did content at? Rollo Tomassi. So does that make you an outrage broker because you did content on something that was going viral at that?
I have to say, it's only outrage brokerage or viral content or all that sort of shit when it's in a negative way. Like if it's done in a positive way, no one gives a shit. No one gives a crap. No one's gonna sit there and say to you, "Hey man, good job on that shit. Yeah, keep at it." But as soon as something negative comes out, all of a sudden people are gonna have issues with it. It's always the case. Copyright striking, flagging, it's always going to come via videos that make you look bad or paint you to be in a bad light. But if it's something positive, no one's going to strike it because like, hey, this person's saying good things about me. I'm going to leave it up.
Particular junction. So really what I'm trying to say is what really makes us different, right? Like, and I know that I deliver content in what I like to call in an edutainment style, whereas you deliver content in a much more educational style. And different styles, I think, attract different
4 to 5 hour streams. How's that educational, man? That'll make me fall asleep.
Amount of view counts. But I do think to call us outrage brokers, but then also not say that a Fresh and Fit isn't an outrage broker. I mean, they got a lot of eyes on their platform due to the kickouts, due to the outrages that would happen in studio on their set. And they took advantage of that and continued to grow their platform.
Now, well, one, I do want to like get to like you and MTR because I had no idea. You feel me? That there was some type of,
I've never said 2 words to MTR, so I only see what I see, right?
Sorry, when did I last check that you have to actually speak to someone if you want to make a video about them or talk about what they've said or ideas they have? It'd be nice if you could, but these people that I would make some commentary about or do a response or add something to, they're in the high tens of thousands of subs, hundreds of thousands maybe. DMs aren't open. I can't just send them a DM request and expect them to respond. So fuck it, I'm going to do a response. I'm going to say what I want to say. There's the video in the description. Check it out. Here's the tag for the channel. By all means, go look at their things. If you have something that I've missed, put a timestamp down below. I'll suss it out. That's how you go about it. Not everyone has the opportunity to tell these people, hey man, I'm going to talk about XYZ, and then have them maybe try and put forward their ideas, or to say, well, hang on a second, instead of that, talk about this instead of that. And now you're influencing what I want to say. Let me say what I want to say. You can be the first person to watch it, and then it'll be out for everybody else. I mean, I've done that before. I think that that's a fair thing to do. Don't ask someone if you can. Just do it, because there's no rule against it. It's in fair use. It's for criticism. It's for commentary. It's for critiquing. It's fair game.
Yeah. Damn, we've been here for what, like 3 hours? God damn. Yo, who knows?
Dude, I do 4-hour and 5-hour podcasts regularly on
I don't know how it does that.
At 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Here, right, but yeah, right now, right? Look at this, right? Cool. But all right, so what's your issue with MTR? Why don't he like you?
I don't know. I don't know. Does he not like me? I don't know.
I don't think he's ever said that.
I look at what MTR does and what he's talked about in the past with like Fresh and Fit. I know he's come at Pearl. Which please keep going at her now. Yeah. I had a problem now. I don't have a problem anymore. Please do. It's all it's on you, bro. Go get him.
Let me just clear the air before we go on right now. Rollo, I have absolutely no issues with you whatsoever. In fact, I know that you've written a book that gets high accolades, high praise. I haven't read that book, not because I just don't want to read it, but because as a content creator, I don't want to subconsciously lift content from the book and then be speaking about it. Because sometimes what can happen is that I can totally forget where I heard something from and not.
He's got a point. I've got the book as well. I've gone on record before. I've said it. I'll say it time and time again. The book is useful, okay? It can be helpful, The Rational Male. There are some things in there which, if you're reading it for the first time, will either make you think, oh yeah, shit, this is, yeah, I've seen this before in real life, or it'll make you say, this is complete bullshit, this is not for me, I don't want to read this, all right? There are some good things you can follow, even just information, just explaining situations, thinking about certain scenarios that you've gone through in the past, that now when you look at it and think like, holy shit, that's what that... So that's what happened with that chick, or that's why that guy was XYZ talking to her and blah, blah, blah. There are reasons why. It's not to say there's a right or wrong thing. There are reasons why these things happen. His book, in my opinion at least, is helpful in that sense. Not the whole thing has to be used, but most of it is a general good go-to at least if you're new into the space. But like MTR says, if I'm going to do some commentary about it or some video or whatever, I don't want to have read something and then me think I've come up with that when I haven't, because there have been some people that have used Rollo's work, lifted it verbatim from his books, and have not given him any credit. I mean, the least you can do is give somebody credit if they've come up with something first.
Attribute it to a particular book, so I didn't want to muddy my content.
Or not come up with something first, but come up with something and you're using that for your own benefit or whatever.
Creation waters with something that someone else in the space also created. So yeah, brother, I have no issues with you. In fact, I respect what you've done for the space and continue to do going into the future. Let's go.
But no, I don't have a problem with him. I just think that his profit model is based on outrage brokership, and it's all reaction stuff. He doesn't offer anything new. He just talks shit about other people who are actually out there doing something. Yeah. And he's not alone. I don't want to just hit on him. There's other guys that do the same thing. But as far as MTR, and there's was it Hamza? And there's some other
Hamza.
Guys, remember we were talking about like guys who want to leave the manosphere?
Yeah.
I'm still failing to see what the particular issue is, right? Like if you want to call it outrage brokerage, which I think is a much more...
I'll tell you what the issue is. Rollo is unhappy still that other people have come into this space, which, this is just my observation. Other people have come into this space and effectively they've taken over, for lack of a better term, and developed their own sort of like red pill, not ideology is not the right term, but maybe their own red pill flavor, shall we say. And a lot of the stuff is coincidentally the same stuff that Rollo has spoken about, because when you look down and get to the bare bones of it, everyone's got similar experiences. It's just that he's put everything together in one book, right? That's how I would see it. Oh, thanks for the sub, Rusty. Appreciate that. That's how he would see it. And I think Rollo now is, I don't know if he is upset or he still is, but in the last year or so, he was getting mad cut that people were out there using his book, his work, and making it big off of what he's done, and maybe not getting the credit that he deserves, or maybe not being in the position where he probably should be. And I believe that may be influencing his decisions or his thoughts towards all these other creators who are doing, red pill manosphere stuff. And maybe he's thinking, well, why are they at 600k subs and I'm only at 200k or whatever it is? And granted, he came into the space late as well. I think he only created his channel like 2016 or 17 or something. So I mean, there could be something to it. That's my opinion, but let's see what MTR has to say.
Negative version of just taking viral video topics and telling a story about them. If that's what you want to say, you should have issues with everybody that you do content. I mean, you're cool with Sneeko, right? If that's not outrage brokership, then I don't know what is. I mean, the brother was so outrageous, he got kicked off of YouTube.
Outrage brokerage of the highest order.
For it. So then what is the difference between me and a Sneeko? There seems to be a place of dissension from Rollo when it comes to how I have chosen to garner an audience. And I'm a bit confused about that, because just like I think that if you look at a basketball team, everyone has a particular role, right? You got a point guard, you got a small forward, you got the power forward, you got the center. The same thing happens in male-focused content. You have different people on the track towards the same goal, but they might utilize or leverage different ways in order to hit said goal. I think that the reason that my channel has blown up to 600,000 subscribers is not only because I'm a hard worker, but then also too, as I talk about these different topics, I talk about these topics from being in the streets. I am actively in these goddamn streets.
That's another thing as well. The experience you have, there is no substitute for experience. You can look at things, you can say, yes, this is a thing, but if you haven't actually been involved in it, it's a little bit harder for you to sort of like conceptualize or rationalize, okay, this is what it could be. Like me, I'm in and out of nightclubs every weekend. Okay, as a DJ, I have to socialize with certain people, whether I want to or not, whether I like them or not, I have to be around them. And you see these things. You see the good-looking women, the ones who've got all this surgery and shit done to them, the guys who are out there looking to pick up, the quiet ones, the weird ones, the fat ones, all this. You see these people and you just watch how they interact. And I see how they interact and I speak to these people as well. So I have some experience in that sense. If I said like, here's fucking what happens in nightclubs or whatever, if I started a series like, fucking the night of the nightclub or whatever bullshit, and I started talking about it, it's because I live and breathe that stuff. I've seen it. I know what goes on there. You have to have experience if you want to talk about these sort of things. It's like me talking about fucking space and whatever. I've got no experience in space. I'll just be talking out of interest. But if, like MTR, you're in the streets, as he says, you're talking to people, you're experiencing these things, you have more to offer because you are actually living and breathing what you were speaking about. That's a fucking valuable thing to have, man. The experience is what's really going to get you through.
So I think that I can come across it with a degree of nuance that others may not have the opportunity to be able to do. Rollo, you've been married for 30 plus years, and although you can talk through the prescription, you're not actively in the streets. I mean, shit, a scientist that just has ideas is just a bullshitter at the end of the day, unless those ideas are pressure tested against some type of hypothesis. It's the reason for peer review.
MTR's on the money, man. MTR's on the money. Ideas are good, but if you can't test them, if you can't put them through some experiment, if you can't really, stretch and pull and push and do all sorts of things to see if they crack under pressure or if they come through, then it's just an idea. Like, theory and practice. In theory, it makes sense. In practice, it may fall to bits.
Viewed articles. I would think that the commentators within the space are utilizing real world experiences to talk through the situations that they are seeing while also testing it against.
Bingo. Bing fucking go.
Against the proxicology of red pill. But yeah, I think that my channel has grown because of the audience that I supply content to. They know exactly what it is that I'm talking about because I can talk so fluently about it because I am so actively involved in it as well. Shit, I just went down to the Dominican Republic not too long ago for a trip down there, and that shit has re-red pilled me because I'm going down there tripping. Listen, y'all girlfriends that are taking on these goddamn girls trips that are in relationships, they ain't in no goddamn relationships when they down there. Man.
Ladies in nightclubs as well, man, fuck, I had this discussion with someone a few weeks ago. I've seen ladies go out on ladies' nights, and I've seen ladies with rings on them fingers, and they've been dropping it down on the dance floor, hooking up with some random dude. They walk away, and they all giggle with their girls, and I bet you she keeps it all hush-hush. She ain't gonna fucking tell her husband, oh, guess what I did on the weekend? Yeah, we went out for a girls' night. What'd you do? Oh, we had dinner, and then we just chilled out, went for a walk by the river, whatever. Bullshit, in the club, getting down and dirty. I have seen this. That's why I'm so skeptical when I see married women out in the club without their husbands or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? Especially if they're on that dance floor. If they're sitting down, chilling, having a drink, kicking back, whatever, that's fine. You're chilling, whatever. Certain, like 10:30, 11 o'clock, all right, time to get going. But if you're on the dance floor, 12:30, 1 a.m., you're up to some shit.
Married women coming down there taking girl trips, taking off their goddamn wigs. Married where? These chicks are down here, wildin'. Modern women. I can talk about.
Yeah, they don't take their rings off. I've seen with rings on. Maybe they do have them off here as well, but I've seen them with on.
Out there for days and on days. These chicks are wilding out. And how it is that I know that?
Been there. Yep. He's been there, you sly dog, MTR, you sly dog.
Let's continue.
Coach Red Pill, Corey Wayne, Hamza, I guess, John Sonmez, MTR as well. We're leaving the manosphere.
All these dudes used to actually, well, John Sonmez, I think, Bulldog Mindset, he used to work closely with Rollo, I think, until he found a chick, got married, and then legged it or whatever.
We're done with the manosphere. And then you go and they'll do this like a year ago, and you look at every video they've done since they said, we're out of the manosphere, we're done with the red pill now. Everything that they do, all their reaction videos are red pill reaction videos. Every last one. You never left. You're just simply talking shit about the same guys that you wanted to be a part of. Yeah. But now you've left the manosphere. No, you haven't left the manosphere. You're still doing the same material.
Yeah. Now,
the manosphere, you would be talking about like fishing. You know, you'd start a fishing channel, or you'd start a sports channel, or you'd start something that's completely off topic. If you quit the manosphere, get the fuck out. There's a door. Leave, please. There's too many of you.
Don't give so much
Go.
Leave, man.
There it is. Please leave and stop talking shit about people in the red pill and the manosphere. If you're done with the manosphere officially, then get the fuck out.
Just leave.
You hear what he said? I caught this when I listened to it this morning. He says, there are too many of us in here already. Leave. Hang on a second. Wait. If the red pill and manosphere is meant to be a good thing for men and women, let's say, if it's meant to be a good thing, a net positive overall, wouldn't more people discussing ideas be a net benefit rather than a... what's a benefit? Fuck, what's the opposite of benefit? Where's my fucking synonyms? Where's my synonyms at? Negative, shall we say. Like, a positive as opposed to a negative. Sounds like you're trying to lessen the competition you have. Trying to have less people involved in this space that you are trying to be top dog in, let's say. So saying there's too many people in here already, that to me sounds like he's saying there's too many of you guys in here and is fucking it up for everybody. So leave and don't come back, and leave the shit to us big dogs, the big boys in the space. Your Rollers, your Fresh and Fits. Who else is there? Fucking maybe Andrew Tate, for example, and shit like that. Like, leave that sort of stuff to us, and you can go do something else with your time.
What's so funny about these comments right here is that I, MTR, never said that I was in the manosphere to begin with. It is a place that I was placed because I was talking to men with an RP undertone, and my channel started to bubble. The audience placed me there. So much so that at the point, and I think it was like end of 2021, before it was popping to say things such as we're leaving the manosphere or we're leaving Red Pill, I made a video proclaiming that in the title. The interesting part about that is, and maybe to his credit, he doesn't realize this, is that the content style of finding said modern woman that says something utterly.
Now, MTR is going to get into the part where he says he was the first person to do this whole getting a woman on camera, talking to her, and reacting to content, which I have seen. There have been videos of him out there where he has spoken to women first and foremost, and they've had their own say. I'm not going to get into the this debate of who did what first. Fresh and Fit claimed that they brought girls on first. We know what happened between them and Ayinde. Kevin Samuels with the call-ins and everything else in between. Now everyone does these fucking discussion panels and all this sort of shit. They're like the Whatever podcast. Fresh and Fit still doing it. Saint and Sinner did some as well. So people do all these a lot now.
Ridiculous. Bringing it onto the platform, having a conversation about it with RP undertones, right? Cutting that video up into a 10 to 12 minute video, posting it to the channel, and doing it daily, day after day for a male audience is a style that I created. After I started to win with that particular meta, a slew of reaction channels or commentary channels started to pop up, emulating the exact same format to a T. And it's shifted since then. I would say we actually went through a whole compilation phase for the past year or so, which I believe is on the tail end as being the top on its meta. But to tell me to stop doing a content style for a particular audience that have not seen it to that degree before, within an audience that placed me into a manosphere when I never said that I was a part of it to begin with, is average at best. And while we're on the topic as well, because it seems as though in Rollo's comments, he's saying that I am just a reaction channel and I have no ideas. You know what's an idea that I created that now you benefited from? Rollo Tomassi now has a show called Access Vegas. On that show, they are interviewing women. The format of that show leverages Fresh and Fit's model. You know whose Fresh and Fit's model leverages of talking to women in a live studio audience? Fresh and Fit leveraged the model of Kevin Samuels, which was talking to women, but talking to women in a live stream format. Do you know whose channel that Kevin Samuels looked at
Here it
to
is.
leverage the idea of talking to women in real time? Because mind you, Kevin Samuels started out for the first 5 years of talking to men, but do you know who he looked at?
True.
Me. I was the first content creator to talk to women day after day. Look back to
I'm not going to contest that. I don't know for sure. I know MTR did have women on his stream every now and again. Obviously, Kevin Samuels started bringing the callers up there, then did some in-person stuff, the Fresh and Fit model, whatever podcast. Everyone else started getting all these ladies in the studio. I'm not going to debate that. Let's just hear what he has to say, though.
my content back in 2019. I would take a video from Steph is Cold, shout out Steph. I'd take a video from AMS, shout out AMS, and I would have a pretty young thing sitting right next to me, and we look at the content and react to it. And let me tell you, I got so much flack at that time period for doing that. I was the first creator ever that ideated the idea to have these conversations with women. Because what did I always say? I said, you can't have the education.
I didn't have it on stream, but this comment from JD, I think it sums it up. It is sort of like reflects my sentiments as well. Rollo is just bitter at this point, considering that he also mentioned before that such creators, i.e. MTR, Better Bachelor, surpassed him on sub counts and he's still stuck in his wheelchair. That's what I said. Rollo probably thinks he should be in a higher placement, a higher standing as opposed to where he is now. And all these other dudes have sort of like taken what he created or he came up with, you know, Rational Male and all these sorts of things and whatever, blah, blah, blah. They've taken those ideas and then made them their own. And now they're much bigger than him, more popular. You know, they hold more water, shall we say, more weight. That could be the case. I would be leaning towards that because you just heard him say it as well. Rollo said, there's too many of you people here already. Too many red pillars. Leave the space. We don't need you. you know, leave it to the top dogs. Leave it to us big boys to talk about red pill stuff. That's my little insert there. He didn't actually say that.
Without pressure testing it against reality. Because once you pressure test it against reality, you can understand which components of the education actually makes sense. Now, I will say that what I did was nowhere near as entertaining as Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, and probably not Access Vegas as well. Forgive me, I haven't seen much of the content from it. But yes, I was the first content creator that was associated in this space that had these conversations. These conversations are live still on my channel. Anyone in my audience, feel free to go back in there and you'll see the type of conversations that I was having at that time.
I've seen them.
Anyway, guys, I believe that's the rest of his comments. So let me wrap it up right here. Shout out to Rollo Tomassi. I really appreciated hearing your comments. And I think especially as someone that has much time within the space and has seen so many of the different transitions, I appreciated hearing your feedback regarding me and kind of the state of what it is that you see over here. And the thing is, guys, all my G's that watch the channel right here, understand this. Feedback is a gift. And it's something that I mastered when I used to work back in corporate America. I was a fiend for feedback because whether or not I agreed or disagreed with someone, it gives me enough information to do damage with, right? Like if I don't accept feedback and I just go on a straight and narrow path, how will I know what my boundaries are? How will
Actually, I need to work on that better. That's a fault of mine. I need to read comments. I need to see what people say more often. That's an actual fault of mine. I need to do more of that shit to improve myself. But hey, that Adam 22 video I did with the Jason Love clap back on the interview, that's made some numbers. That's gained me some subs. I just hope that I can live up to people's expectations now, because granted, I would have thought they would have seen the previous stuff I've made and thought, yeah, okay, fair enough, this guy's worth the sub, and off you go. But I have to pay attention to positive and negative things people say now.
I know what my
I always have, shall I say,
roadblocks are? How will I know what is the thing that can set me to another place or set me over the edge that will make me better than the rest or differentiate me as I go into the future? So for that, appreciate Rollo and his comments. But inevitably, we just do content in a very different way. And depending upon how we choose to do content, we'll garner different types of audience bases and foundations beneath that. You know what I think actually happens in these YouTube or these content creator streets is that if you do content, and maybe it's because your audiences may cross-pollinate, but if you do content to similar
I'm Australian, I'm not British.
Types of audience.
Close enough.
But you guys, you know, never talk, never speak, like maybe one might say something about the other person. You know, it can come to a place of like, does this person got an issue with me, or does this person have a problem with me? It's just like similar. Like if you walk into like a party or an establishment or something like that, and then right, like everyone's dapping each other up, but there's that one dude across that like you haven't dapped up, and then time goes by, you think to yourself like, does he not like me? Does he have a problem with me? No, there's no problem whatsoever. Rollo, if you ever want to reach out, I'd be more than happy to have a private conversation with you. We ain't got to do nothing for YouTube streets, just to build a bridge, just to connect. Okay.